Hey everybody, welcome. Murdius Maximus here. Welcome to my channel. It's a new channel. It's a new thing that we're doing. It's a exciting new step in our journey to become something above video games, something in this wild world that we have. I have a long relationship with video games. I remember getting video games when I was very young. Mario. I was a TV kid. I got sat down in front of a TV and I played a lot of Nintendo growing up, and that turned into a lifelong hobby that has never changed. And through all of the phases of my life, it has always been one of the major hobby that I've engaged in, other than guitar. Um, but it has always been there through every step of my life. I've always had a video game controller in my hand during my free time at every step in my life, and I always knew that I wanted to do something gaming. I never knew what that was going to be. For a long time, I thought maybe I want to get into video games. I thought maybe I wanted to get into a game design. And, it turned out I was just kind of a okay artist. I'm not really, I'm cartoony, but, I wasn't really a great artist. I have ADHD, so coding is really weird for me. Coding just never really clicked with me. I tried, I fumbled it. It was terrible. It was definitely not my thing. And I I didn't know a lot else what you could do. I practiced voice acting for a very long time. I thought maybe I wanted to get into voice acting for games, but when you're a Colorado kid and you're a 20 something and you can kind of do some of this stuff, there's not really, you don't know how to get into that market. One of the big problems throughout my life has been access to tools and or people that enable me to take next steps. They have had to do a lot of this, though I've had a lot of support along the way, but a lot of my endeavors are kind of done myself. I spent a lot of time working pointless retail job after pointless retail job, and then I invested the last 12 years of my life in a company that my wife and I, thought we were going to take over. We were promised many times that this was going to happen, and then it didn't pan out. The owners sold the company. It was a very dramatic shift for us. We are still in the middle of that. That is not the focus. The reason we tell this story, though, is because as an unfortunate byproduct, because of some of my needs as an employee, will be tactful about it, I was put in a position where I had to quit. It was a very messy situation. There was a whole lot of betrayal from a whole lot of people that were very close to us. But it did open the door, and I had always said that I was never going to work for anybody else ever again after I started working this. I'm never going to work for anyone else. I'm never going to apply myself and my abilities to someone else's benefits. Well, here we are, folks. This is the culmination of a lifelong dream as well as anything else. I am starting a video gaming kind of based channel, but this channel's going to be about a lot of things. This channel's not just going to be about gaming today. It's going to be about gaming. And we will touch more on that in a minute. All of my streams or all of my videos will have a game in the background of them. This is me playing that game. This is me in the wee hours of the evening until the wee small hours of the morning playing video games. I play video games like people read books or watch TV shows. I've played a lot of games, folks. I've played a lot of games. I got a pretty robust background, and I'm kind of okay at them too. So that's the background that you will be seeing. Is I will always have a game that is playing. It is not necessarily topical to the video, although today it will be. That's how I'm going to share what I do. I love to play games. And a lot of these games, a lot of people don't play anymore because they're just old or anything like that. I am working on a stream. We will play some of the newer stuff that's coming out. We're into all kinds of stuff. Hawkeye viewers will have already caught me there doing some of that. But these videos are kind of where I think I want to hang my hat and what I want to focus on. We're going to talk about a whole range of topics on this channel. It's not just going to be video games. I throughout my whole life, I'm 43 years old. I have kind of developed this unique, I think, perspective on life. And I want to share that with people. Nobody knows me. I've always lived my life as kind of a, in public, I would say that I mask a lot as though, overtly aloof and whatnot. But, really the reality of it is I'm a very private person. And, it has been to my detriment in the last many years. So we're seeking to open that up. I want people to know me. I want to share my thoughts with the world. I have a goal in life, and that's just to leave something behind in the world that is not ugly, that is better. But not just that, something that, maybe my son or future family or anything can look back on and say, this is who I am. This is what I left behind, because there's just none of you know me. So I want to share some of that with you all here. We are going to do a lot of different topics. They'll be social related sometimes. We have a lot of different topics planned up. Social. I've led a life that has a lot of weird twists and turns in it. We're not Nathan Drake. We're not action stars. I'm not a secret agent or anything. It's nothing that fancy, but it's been a life, and now I want to kind of start sharing that. We get into all that stuff, but gaming was always kind of the undertone of a lot of what developed for me. I was a child. As I was growing up, I was kind of put in front of a TV a lot. My mom was busy with house stuff or other things, and my father was working, and there's a lot of trauma from back in those days that could have shaped a lot of bad things. I could have become a pretty bad person, and I think gaming as a foundation helped keep me from turning to some of those darker sides that I could have been, and maybe even had every right to be. So you'll see, that's why the backdrop to some of these topics is always going to be gaming. I just want to share that I game. The game you are seeing, in the background here is, of course, God of War. God of War released in like the spring of 2002, I think. I remember God of War really weird. I remember a buddy of mine at the time called me up and was like, "Yo, man, I got this issue of Game Informer this month. Have you seen it?" I think it was Game Informer. And I was like, "No, why?" And he's like, "It comes with a demo disc, man. You need to play this demo disc." I'm like, "All right, whatever." So I get in the car and I drive down to the store and I pick up this issue of Game Informer, and sure enough, there's a God of War demo disc in there. I think it was a Game Informer. I could be mistaken on the magazine, so please don't slag me down. And of course, put in the comments if you know what the exact one of that is. I could probably just Google search it later and put it out there. But anyway, I got this demo, popped it in the PlayStation 2, and guys, that was the weekend. It was one level. It was the first level of God of War. Now, I was a Devil May Cry fan. Devil May Cry I guess maybe it had been out for a little bit. I don't know when that one released, but I know that Devil May Cry was already a game I was kind of messing around with, and it was kind of good. But man, God of War felt so good. And the end of that demo was, he's fighting the giant sea hydra, and you're chopping on the sea hydra, and then all of a sudden the whole end game of that whole fight was that Kratos grabs him with his blades of chaos and like pikes the monster's head on the ship mast, and I was like, what the fuck? And that was it. Like, nobody in gaming was doing that. Nobody was doing that at the time. I mean, there were lots of games that I was playing, but like God of War was kind of the first game that like I put down the demo after the demo, and I was like, what just happened. Like, I have played a lot of games, as a Final Fantasy fan. I was, Bond and kind of all that stuff. I'd done a lot of James Bond, the shooters Perfect Dark, but nothing like that. Like, I had never played anything that just grabbed me so hard and like it like shook it out of me and was like, this is what gaming can be. And it was the first time since Doom where you felt so powerful and so mighty. I mean, Devil May Cry was stylish and cool, but man, Kratos was just vicious and just, I mean, he was everything that was just raw and go get him. And that game came out, and it was a day one buy. I don't know how fast I bought it, but it was like what the equivalent of a day one buy would be, because I was still 20 something and I didn't, but I will tell you that was one game that even to this day, as I'm playing in this clip, my heart is racing the whole time. It's going because it's gas. It's just constant, and then the puzzles that were in it, the puzzles were like the perfect shakeup. God of War had a really good way of building tension within its very limited scope of what it was. Kratos is a very angry guy, and they found a way to put that on there. Now, of course, none of this writing holds up today. No, it's all bad. But this is the important foundation that laid the groundwork for Kratos, who would change my life again later in 2018. And I'm gonna tell you, man, there's probably a video coming about that down the road. But like, God of War was a game that impacted me because it taught me that I could be visceral in a game, but not just be visceral in a game, but that I was good. I was actually good at games, because I had this game conquered on God mode within 2 months after getting it. I had friends back in the day that were just, they were like, how? I mean, it was just, I loved that game a lot, and it really helped kind of take a lot of edge off and taught me that I can have a lot of fun with a game like this and not feel too bad about it. Because I always kind of felt bad. Like, I'm really bad at playing evil runs in video games, because I just kind of, I don't know, but like, I mean, the game had sex in it. It had like very, very, very cinematic executions. It was a bully game. I mean, it really was. Kratos was just a giant bully, and it felt good to play. And that's not what necessarily attached me to it. It was the fact that it was so fun to play and that I was good at it. I was realizing at this point in my time in my life, I was starting to get confidence in my games. I'd never really tried to play anything more difficult, and this game made me want to attempt God mode, and I found out I could do it. And so this was another important step in my video game journey, teaching me that there is self-fulfillment to finding games that you can push yourself, and that you can conquer what a lot of people, because this game is very hard. If you put it on God mode, it's not a walk in the park, So that was an important gaming lesson for me. Of course, my life was interesting at this point in time, but that's not what we're going to talk about. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and expect more of these videos. I am a new station. I am learning how to do this. This will only get better as we go. I know your time is valuable to you. Thank you for spending 15 minutes with me, listening to me ramble about how my channel is going to start, and sharing a little bit about myself and just a tiny little bit about things to come in this station. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you like what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you.